It's in the ideas. You can make it look really good for not a lot of money. Modern alloys, modern seats, electric windows, central locking, DVD. I don't know if I can get in there with it.
Angle grind it. Like with anything that's sort of more than 10 or 15 years old, you're going to get seized and rusted in bolts, and they're going to snap, and you're going to whack your hands against the bodywork as you're doing it. You know, you give me the jobs. It's all part and parcel of the job, and that's why we like doing it.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Unlike most vehicles, the Beetle hasn't got a full monocoque chassis. The body can be easily separated from the floor pan, which will make the reassembly a lot easier. With the body off, Steve and Rich can begin to assess the work that lies ahead.
It's going to take a fair bit of work. This is the main bit here. Got a big dent in that. There's some rot down here, there's some rot at the back. We might end up going for a complete quarter panel. We're going to need doors, four wings, and a bonnet as well.
With the running gear, they've a good idea what needs to be replaced or refurbished. The engine and drive shafts will be reconditioned.
Watch your fingers.
But the gearbox will remain in its original state, and as Steve's never driven the car, this is a bit of a gamble. The shocks, brakes and wheels will all be new, but the tight budget will rule out top-spec aftermarket gear.
I mean, this has thrown up a few surprises, you know. I didn't know that there was a big dirty hole there, and there's quite a bit of damage to the actual body shell itself. That's going to take a while to do, and a lot worse than I thought it would be.
At this stage, it's still too early to tell the full extent of the work ahead. A trip to the blasters should leave them with no illusions. It's a place where rust, paint and underseal gets blown away, along with a few dreams. Here, even the most enthusiastic restorer can lose faith in a project.
1, 2, 3.
The lads are just getting the floor pan blasted for around £100. It's covered in rust and underseal, which could be hiding a lot of damage, so it's money well spent. Although the treatment is commonly referred to as sandblasting, these days it's rarely used. Glass beads, plastics and even walnut shells can be used to achieve the desired finish.
Sand is actually illegal now. It releases silica, free silica into the air. You can use it with water, but obviously when you're blasting steelwork you don't want water on it. So we're actually using a steel grit which you can reclaim and use again.
The lads aren't getting the body shell blasted because it would cost another £200 and some large panels need replacing anyway, but they'll be hoping there are no hidden horrors lurking under the paint.
Partly it's a time thing. It would take us a lot of time to sit there with a wire brush and a grinder. It'll strip everything. It'll give us a completely clean base to work on.
The whole process, including a coat of primer, will take up most of the day, so the lads aren't hanging around. They've found a bit of cash to get the exhaust sprayed with liquid metal. Aluminium wire is melted in an oxyacetylene flame and atomised using compressed air. When sprayed onto the surface, it quickly solidifies and forms a protective coating that keeps the rust away. After blasting, the floor pan will just get a coat of primer. Despite being mostly hidden, the lads don't intend on slapping more underseal on when it's finished. Show cars are usually as good underneath as on the surface, so the boys will give it the same respect as the bodywork. After the break, Steve makes a start on the body shell, but Rich still has major doubts about the project.
What's it really like?
Basically.
But has he every right to be worried?
Something's not right down there.
Have a look. Oh my god. This is ridiculous.
You don't get much for £150, and Steve and Rich's 1971 1302 Beetle is no exception.
It's awful.
They aim to give it the full custom treatment and show it off at Europe's biggest event in under 5 months' time.
2, 3.
But with only a £5 budget and the lads working full-time, will this ugly bug ever go to the ball? The floor pans back from the blasters, so Steve can now turn his attention to the battered body shell.
The main bit is the rear quarter there. There's lots of rot, there's a few bits here and there, and there's a couple of dents that won't come out, so the easiest thing to do is just put in a big panel like that one.
Steve's been fixing up VWs for a while, so he knows how best to tackle the bodywork.
Going near that seam's an absolute nightmare because it's made up of lots and lots of different bits. See, the easiest thing to do is to cut it across here and across down there, and then you've got like a flat surface.
He picked up this panel for £100 a few years ago. It was bought for another project, so it's been hanging around in his loft for a while. It'll be both spot and seam welded, so the surface of the new panel needs to be prepared. The original metalwork needs cleaning up. It takes a lot of measuring and re-measuring to get this right.
Did an evening course when I was at uni. Bought a second-hand welder and just carried on from there, really.
On this project, the fabrication alone could consume over 100 hours, so a lot will depend on Steve's welding skills. With Steve busy in the garage, Rich has got the tricky job of sourcing good parts without blowing their budget.
There's a load of bonnets in there.
Oh, right, okay.
The contact made at a show has led him to this VW specialist in Birmingham, which is a graveyard for dead bugs.
Them are 03 ones, so them would go on it, wouldn't they, on an 02?
As well as running the breaker's yard, Lee Southerton is a professional restorer, and he's a bit surprised at the lad's choice of model.
They're mad.